I think that should work.
Yes.
Jammed everybody on the stream. If you had audio issues, hopefully those have been addressed. Welcome to everybody who is watching us on YouTube and Twitch, or streaming on both places simultaneous for the visuals this morning. Yeah, I do, man. My weekend was good. It was, like I said, just warming up here. I got a chance to get outside a bit and actually get to a buddy's house. I play some music with him back in the day. I moved across the country this summer, so I get to play some tunes with a friend, which is fun too.
Right.
And yeah, so that was fun. I don't know if you play an instrument, man. I don't think we ever chatted about that before.
I used to play the piano disgracefully. I used to play the piano, and that's it. Yeah, that's that. I have two left feet. I don't know how you. I don't remember if it's foot or feet, but yeah, you understand the point.
Oh yeah, I get you, man. Well, on the music side, folks, we've been playing some tunes here at the top of the show, and we'll do the same sort of music break halfway through. And so we will encourage you, particularly if you're on Discord with us, to hop in the One Hive TV chat channel. Feel free to drop any links in there to a Spotify tune or something that you'd like us to play. We can maybe throw that up there in the music break. And again, Jim, to everybody for the chat, we have just a sort of bit housekeeping before we dig into the news here. If you are with us on Discord, Jim, to everybody here, we have a simultaneous stream. So this is the first week where we're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And if you want to see the visuals, so like we have a screen share the on the streaming channel, so you can sort of see what we're talking about. We show different visuals for projects and the snapshot, etc. So it's good to check that out. And if you're in the chat on either of those platforms, either YouTube or Twitch, I'm not exactly sure how it looks on your end, because again, this is the first time we're doing it, but it might say restream.io. I'm not sure. Maybe it just comes across as a channel. But we'll be keeping tabs on those chat conversations as well. Again, in YouTube and Twitch. We'll be doing our best to keep track of everything here. If you got any questions, comments throughout the stream, feel free to drop them there. And once again, we'll have the POAP code to share about halfway through today's show. But I think that's it for housekeeping. GM to everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Edu, let's get into that news. What do you say, man?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So, for those who are not familiar with the headlines, we will go through snapshot proposals and take a deep dive sometimes into the things that are occurring right now in the decision making layer of the Web3 space. So, we will start with ENS. Is that okay for you, T-Waltz?
Let's do it.
All right. So ENS, they have a few proposals up after they had the approval of the latest ones, where were about the working group's approval budget. They are now executing less controversial proposals. This one is the AP10 and is executable to basically, as the name it says, fund a DAO governed identity server. And this proposal started on March 16 and today, March 21. And the proposal is for the funding and establishment of a community run identity provider server for signing in with Ethereum. They explained that they were doing research and it was found that many services wanted to integrate the sign in with Ethereum workflow, but they don't have the ability to add new passwordless authentication methods to their installations. And they also found that most of services already support OpenID Connect, and that they were open to adding a new identity provider that supported the Seaway workflow. And by meeting those services where they are today, they can provide a pragmatic stepping stone towards true decentralization with an upgrade path to direct authentication. And this proposal was voted 97% in favor with 311 votes. So this is a very interesting for me proposal, which is, it seems that with the formation of the DAO and so on, I feel like they have sort of, they have become more technical focus, let's say, in a way. So the DAO can focus on the cultural build and bringing support to the services while they are still building technical aspects of the ENS protocol. Um, so do you imagine in a year to be able to sign in with your ENS to, for example, let's say your local Wi-Fi or to your email, T-Wells?
It's funny. I was talking about the single sign-in the other day with my family. Who are, I mean, they obviously, I speak with them about what I do for a living in crypto frequently, but they're still somewhat skeptical, and I think that the single sign-in, even on its own, is like a really powerful use case. I mean, this conversation with us sort of grew out of frustration over setting up a couple new, like we just moved, so we got healthcare stuff with new jobs and all these other, sign-ins, right, with new passwords and usernames and failures of integration. And it's like, you know, you have a password book or whatever, or duplicates where you have handwritten stuff if you really want to be secure. And in order to keep track of it, in order to like not get locked out of critical stuff. I mean, and yes, you can like recover passwords and all that, but that's just such a freaking headache, right? I mean, it's anyways. I'm ranting here, but yeah, I'm excited about hearing you talk about this because I think that getting some traction for the single sign-in is it's a great use case pitch. I think to people outside of crypto, the idea, and they have single sign-in with Google, but again, it's a little bit, it has multiple layers of benefit in addition to that, and you can pay from within it, and this is super cool.
At the end, Google is Google. There is an extent of what kind of things you want Google to know about you. And I feel like, having the sign-in option with the ENS, it's not only amplifies the use cases for the service, um, but also it puts in relevance the awareness that the ENS protocol have many possible use cases that haven't been explored. So I don't know. I feel it's exciting times, and we will see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, for ENS in particular, I agree. I think seeing how they build out different use cases for the ENS domains is really, like, this is a really cool thing. And I scrolled down, obviously, Coinbase weighed in on this one. But yeah, really cool.
All right. We can move to EP9, another executable, which is to change to exponential premium price oracle. This proposal also started on March 16 and it ends today. And this proposal seeks to deploy the exponential price oracle contract to replace the current linear price oracle contract. And for those who don't know, the linear premium oracle, meaning the actual contract that is right now for the ENS, was a way to create a distribution mechanism that did not involve gas auctions and bots. And it was successful, but with the recent popularity of the ENS increasing, the demand and the price people are willing to pay for these premium names also has increased. And this long-term solution will be to change the actual curve to something that could start at very high price and will decrease rapidly at the beginning and slow down at the end. So you have a better UX for users. And therefore, this proposal is basically to deploy an exponential price curve that does exactly that. This will allow a fair bidding on both high and low price names. This was quite of a discussion on the forum, and this was vote on favor with 98% and 468 votes on this. And you have, I guess you have seen it, like this famous brands in the US buying the ETH name, and people also like buying the ETH name. So I guess they are, the talks were that there were even people paying 100K for a ENS domain. So you know, what
Yeah,
do
I
you
think
think?
there was something like, I don't know the number exactly, and so don't quote me on this, but I think it was like 300,000. I thought they had unique addresses, but that's somewhat hard to quantify unless you have some civil detection, right? But again, I think you have over a 250,000 unique users of ENS. Um, and yeah, so I mean, but I think a lot of those people own multiple and getting in, obviously, like it's interesting to see how like the brokerage services, maybe they already have this settled. Do you know? I do, like, how do you broker like these really hot in demand ENS domains? I don't know. In the same way that, in some similar ways you do for, like, regular web domains. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in their server, in the Discord server of ENS, they do have the selling option. Like you can sell and promote or whatever your ENS domain that you want to sort of buy or get rid of. And this reminds me of this guy on two use cases of this. The first one is the Ukraine name and how they sort of make good use of that name. And the other case was this guy who had like three-letter names, on three letter names on ES. And he was like, bragging, it was really funny. I don't know his username, but he was really funny bragging how many left he has.
Ed, I'm having a little bit of
Basically,
trouble hearing you. Can you hear me okay, man?
uh, yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me now?
One more time. I think at the end there it cleared up.
Let's try. Can
There
you
you
hear me
go.
now?
Yes, perfect.
Uh,
Sorry, continue.
all right. No, no, it's okay. That I was explaining about this guy and how he was selling the short premium names, and he was just like, "Hey, I have this domain. Do you want it?" So there are different paths. I guess there are certain spaces that you can, sort of auction it, but I'm not familiar with those. I know that in their server they actually have a channel dedicated to selling and buying domains.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So you know a lot more about the CNS stuff than I do. I mean, obviously have one here, but I haven't like dug into the product side of things here. Um, Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, I saw Shaq get an ENS or get an .eth, but now I think he's .sol. So these celebrities, you got to be. They're gonna they're gonna jump to what's hot. But at the end, I think ENS will, the ETH domains will remain right when other blockchains go down randomly.
That I mean, you I'm not gonna say anything about that shady comment. And we can move on to Gitcoin. Do you want to talk about Gitcoin? All right. Gitcoin have a bunch of well, have one proposal, sorry, and it's one that says, should we adopt the Gitcoin Foundation and take legal possession of philanthropic assets from Gitcoin holdings? It's a very long name for a proposal. And this proposal was started on March 14 and it ended yesterday, March 20th. And this proposal is to basically signal the community and the DAO, um, if they would like to adopt the Gitcoin Foundation, an exempted Cayman Foundation company, as their legal entity to take possession of and steward multiple assets from the Gitcoin holdings. Basically, the context is that the community and the DAO, the Gitcoin DAO, need a legal entity to own and claim many of the assets currently in possession of the Gitcoin holdings, such that they can focus exclusively on growing their mission and philanthropic work. Assuming that this vote passes, the negotiations will begin with Gitcoin holdings to procure assets and bring back those terms of the deal to the community to review. And as part of these terms negotiations, we will also review and ratify the governing bylaws for the foundation to ensure that token holders have near total control of actions taken by the foundation. This was voted with 99.98% in favor, 376 votes. Sometimes my only concern regarding this kind of stuff is what happens if the Cayman, for example, goes against crypto. You know, all this kind of gray areas of if legislation changes, because I have seen this pattern of DAOs or foundations across the Web3 space. But yeah, I guess wherever you have a foundation to sort of own these kind of assets, it will still be on risk of a legislation change.
Yeah, I mean we're never totally untethered from the state system, right? Like if in other words, the idea I think as you suggested, or the concern that the Caymans would turn against crypto is always possible, but I think that's sort of true of potentially any state actor, I guess, hypothetically, right? And so it's all a matter of gauging risk and probability. And I know obviously the Caymans are typically friendly to perhaps a large host of you know different financial activities, et cetera, at least historically. So I guess it makes sense. It seems like this is one of the options, either Cayman Foundation. I think Shapeshift has explored something out of Liechtenstein in Europe, and then I know doesn't the Trusted Seed use a Swiss LLC or something along those
Correct.
lines. Yeah, I know I'm not a legal. I
Correct.
don't know anything in detail about this stuff, but I know that people are exploring these different arrangements, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The common stack uses Swiss Foundation to execute, and cover themselves and cover the community. So yeah, that also Switzerland works. I guess Cayman works. You never know when, how do you call it, Cayman papers or Swiss papers or whatever name you want to call it will come around. Anyways,
Yeah, it'd be cool to
there
hear
is this.
the somebody share like
Uh,
the real trade offs between these different options, though, because like I'm totally ignorant of that. It'd be cool to chat with somebody to to explain,
yeah,
like what are the trade offs between these different options for crypto projects? Because obviously there are those, but I have no idea what they are. Helping people make good decisions if they're thinking about starting a project would be a cool resource, maybe. Anyways, I'm just talking off the top of my head, man. Continue. Sorry.
no, it's okay. I think it's a really interesting legal tool that should be accessible for people to have like comparison notes on what kind of legal structure fits better, what kind of space you're building. Because a lot of people get lost on this part, and
Right.
I think there is not enough good communication. And where do I go? I have a good product, I have a good community. We want to be legal in certain extent. Where do we, what do we do after we are conscious of this? And I think that's
Right.
that comparative kind of simple spreadsheet or typical, how you call this, I forgot the name of this, when you have these visual explanatories that explain the comparisons in
Oh
between
yeah, like an infographic or
countries or
something.
or states.
Like a graphic organizer.
Infographic, correct.
Yeah, yeah, something. Sure. Yeah, exactly. To express those points of overlap or difference. That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. So we will see. We will see. I mean, in this case, Gitcoin, it passed, but there still needs to be negotiations. So we will see how these
Right.
negotiations unfold, and if they will affect or improve, or whatever will happen with the DAO and the foundation and the community, of course.
Yeah, this would be a
And
story we can
then,
follow. Cool.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And then we have Uniswap, and here I would like to make a stop because Uniswap today, and it's basically a consensus check, which is about should we deploy Uniswap V3 on Zillow. So Zillow, I don't know if you're familiar with Zillow. I was not until last week. And Zillow, what is interesting about Zillow is that there is, I think, two or three other proposals on Snapshot for this week regarding Zillow. Um, Core Finance also have one to launch on Zillow, and I think we covered another one in the past weeks regarding Zillow. So basically, I had to take like a dive into what's going on. And to my surprise, they are holding a blockchain week here in Barcelona. I don't know if they are the main
Oh,
sponsors.
cool.
I have zero idea of what's the level of involvement, but basically, they explain that they are the first mobile DeFi platform, layer one blockchain. That's a description. Um, they have a full explanation that Zillow is a fully EVM compatible proof of stake layer one protocol featuring a fast ultra light client and built-in stablecoins collateralized by crypto and natural assets, blah blah blah. So this is quite interesting. They are holding this event here um, on Barcelona, on the blockchain week stuff. They are, I guess, taking advantage that last week was Avalanche Summit, if I'm not wrong, here in Barcelona also. So there is a bunch of movement going on Barcelona regarding this. But do you know anything about Zilla before we keep going down the path?
No, I mean I've seen it around. The first time well, yeah, it was maybe last year that I saw a couple projects that I was interested in and following were collaborating with CeeLo. One of which is Symmetric
Mm,
Finance that has their
mm,
is a balancer fork deployed on Gnosis chain, and they also I believe are they have it on CeeLo. So I've heard of it, but I'm really interested to hear about this from you and sort of just look over the website here. Um, it seems like there are distinct sort of uniquenesses. It's mobile first, did you say? Like they're encouraging essentially all the dApps built on it to be. Well, I guess I don't know. I have to dig into there. But it sounds like a mobile
Yeah,
first, like they're intending. I guess a blockchain really can't be mobile first, but the design of the dApps built on it could be. Um,
yeah,
so,
yeah, and
yeah.
it seems that they have synced their efforts towards this week and the next one. I mean, it's called Silo Connect Barcelona 2022, and it happens in between the April the 4th and April the 5th. This is not paid advertisement. Like, they have not paid us to talk about them, but I just found interesting the fact that how all these proposals are just coming just behind or just before this summit they are gathering in Barcelona. So for me, that's the interesting part. I feel they're putting a lot of effort on sort of, coordinating and trying to launch a product. The Silo Connect, they even gonna do a mobile hackathon in Barcelona. They are launching Barcelona Blockchain Week, powered by them. They are the main sponsor of this. So they are trying to connect in a bunch of different ways. And in the case of the proposal that I want to provide this context is Uniswap. So the Uniswap is, should we deploy Uniswap v3 on Zillow? And they explained that a week ago, the blockchain at Michigan, in partnership with the Zillow Foundation and the Zillow Climate Collective, submitted a proposal to deploy Uniswap v3 on Zillow to launch green asset liquidity pools and expand access to the Uniswap to the 6B smartphone users around the world. Zillow is a mobile first, what I explained, and they propose launching Uniswap on the Zillow platform to increase Uniswap influence through 10 millions in financial incentive to Uniswap users, as well as additional grant funding provided by the Zillow Foundation to utilize Uniswap as a financial building block. Bring Uniswap v3 increase capital efficiency to the 6 billion in smartphones users around the world, create green asset liquidity pools with natural capital backed assets such as tokenized carbon credits and future nature backed assets issues on Zillow like land and forest. Also, to use Uniswap as a decentralized mechanisms to rebalance the Zillow reserve and to foster pathways for future green uses cases on Uniswap. And the proposal received a strong support from the user community, and they are now entering the consensus check phase. The vote is 99 in favor with 1,316 votes. It's a lot of votes on this one. And basically, there's a lot of, green. The word green is being used a lot. And, n- nice to hear phrases like climate collective, green asset. There's a lot of these phrases thrown into this snapshot. So I'm currently quite interested to know more about, how does this translate into actual green kind of, activities, good practices, and so on. I don't have much of a knowledge about Silo besides what I have read today, but I'm looking forward to see how this move and how this advances. Mainly because I've seen that they are putting like a lot of efforts on different ends. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I got the climate collective, the CeeLo Climate Collective, up here on the share screen, and dropped a link to it in chat. Um, I haven't really dug into this before, but I'm definitely going to take a look at it. I mean, folks, if you're here for some kind of alpha, again, not financial advice, but this is really interesting. I feel like the sort of regen green intersection with crypto is gaining more and more traction. I think that this proposal is evidence of that for sure. Um, I mean, it's yeah. So that's, I guess, my immediate reaction. Of course, there's a whole other question, which is like, it seems really they're really going about this in a smart way by, um, you know, combining the blockchain with this sort of green initiative and branding it that way, but then also not like if Uniswap. Let's put it this way: if you are deploying a blockchain and you get Uniswap to deploy, and we're talking about like actual Uniswap, v3 or whatever it is. That's different than if you launch a blockchain and you have like forks of PancakeSwap or other. I mean, you will have those things, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it's the combination of green with getting sort of blue chip DeFi to deploy on your chain. That seems like a really cool combination to me. Yeah, bullish, not financial advice.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think in a way, I felt that they were looking for validation. I felt that they trust their product enough to seek this validation from Uniswap, from Barcelona, from Blockchain Week in Barcelona, and so on. So I don't know. I'm interested. I actually haven't seen their product because I haven't, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how it looks like. I don't see any screenshot. I didn't see any kind of, um any kind of visualization of what they are building. So that's my only worry. That I don't know where, like, okay, you have this, where do I see it? That's the question I didn't manage to answer. So if anyone knows where you can do that, please share. Because I will like, I mean, um they have different explanations and stuff. You can see the code of the blockchain. You can see the core contracts. You can see the applications and the non-soil wallet and all the explanations that they have. I would like them to, be more, share more of this, because I feel they are sharing more about their intention rather than the product. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, no, I hear that, man. I hear that. When I don't know, like, again, I have to dig into it. I don't know what are the unique distinctions between, in an operational level between their network, like their proof of stake model, and say Gnosis chain, or Polygon, right? Like, I'm sure there's some throughput differences and the like. Like, I assume the CeeLo token is the utility token, but again, I just haven't really explored their chain. So I'll definitely have to check that out, in the coming days here. Edu, can you hear me all right, bro?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Cool. I had a little bit of a technical
You?
issue
Can you hear
on
me?
my end, but yeah, I think we're doing okay. I can hear you just fine.
All right. And then, if we want to keep talking about Zillow for one last time, we have a very short proposal on the car finance
Cool.
snapshot. And it's basically to propose the launch of car finance on Zillow. And the same stuff that we read for Uniswap. This is for March 14 and it ends today. And it's the Zillow community is proposing to deploy Curve on the Zillow blockchain. This expansion to Zillow will enable Curve to broaden its reach into a new DeFi ecosystem with 7 million of additional incentive for Curve users. And it passed with 100% in favor, 24 votes, not so many votes, but they they got it. So, and a lot of votes, a lot of tokens used on this votation. Actually, one main uh, token holder with 26 million Curve voted on this. But yeah, so this it seems to be passing. So I will take a look at Curve Finance and at Zillow and at Uniswap there, just to see how it improved the ecosystem. Because also in their partnership page, I don't like in a partnership. In typically all these products or all these blockchains show a little bit of other alliances that they have. I don't see many. I don't see any in their alliances. Like like highly displayed. They do have a sub page called alliance, and but it doesn't explain much. So I don't know. We will see how this goes, and that's it for Zillow. And then we can move on to the next one, which is
Can I do one
PancakeSwap.
more, Edu? Can I do one more thing? Just because I sort of can't
Sure.
resist. I know
Yeah.
the people's likes it. So let's do this real quick. If you're looking at the share screen, folks, this is the CeeLo chart. Just saying. So, and again, you typically don't have Genesis on CoinGecko, but we're looking at May 2020. So going on 2 years ago is when it launched. And so this is a decent amount of time. And essentially it's hovered here right around $2. And it looks like this time last year we had a pump to 6 and then back down to 2. And then the fall pump was up to almost 8. And then we're back around 2. So I don't know what it launched at, right? But all I'm saying is this particular chain and its corresponding utility token really has not seen like an absolutely, sort of stratospheric rise in the way that Avalanche and Polygon and the others have. And yet they're over here on Snapshot providing millions in incentives to get blue chips to deploy. So again, not financial advice, but I thought I'd try to connect some dots on this for people who are joining us. Yeah, interesting, man. We'll have to keep an eye on CeeLo. Even though, as you said, I know there are these sort of questions about where's the beef, where's the beef. But like
Yeah,
that's sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
we get good at asking that question in crypto, don't we? Like, because you kind of have to have that as the default. But maybe we talk more about CeeLo next week, man. That's really cool.
Sure. And we can move on to packing swap, shall we?
Let's do it. Yep.
Great. And then we have the cross-chain cake. And this is a proposal from March 17 to March 31. It still have 10 more days to go. And they explain that cake can increase its exposure to investors by going cross-chain. This entails two things. First, make the pancake swap protocol available on other chains such as Polygon, Ethereum, Avalanche, etc., and having the cake token available for purchase in other chains. This is a proposal to make this happen, and it should be noted that the Binance Chain protocol will still be the only one with continuous management and development, and the only one with incentivized liquidity offerings. And the cross-chain pancake swap is simply a tool to earn more trading fees and create awareness for the cake token and its ecosystem. Have you ever used pancake swap, T-Wolves?
Oh yeah, I mean this time last year, I would say, and then maybe, yeah, but it has been a while. It's been a while.
I'm not a Binance. I'm not a Binance user, so it was until last week that I bought for the first time. I bought Beanie Bee and I bought Cake just for the sake of trying it out. Didn't buy much, but just to try it out, and it was quite a journey, I have to say. And to go like from XI, because there is a bridge in between XI and BNB, but I didn't know at the moment, so I have to go XI, Ethereum, BNB.
Oh
So it
no.
was quite a journey. Yeah. Later, I figured out that there was actually a bridge on for XI to BNB. So
Yeah.
what I found interesting, I used the Pancake Swap protocol to try it out and so on. I didn't see much of a difference. I guess that if you are a Binance user, it has a lot of benefits for you. But I'm not a Binance user, so I don't know. It felt short to me. How about you?
Yeah, man. I guess on the bridge side, it's good. X Pollinate still. I guess it's technically the Connects Bridge network or the next Connects network. But if you're looking at the share screen, folks, you can see that what you can more or less send it back and forth to. They've sort of rebranded or like redone the UI, the front end several times. So it's changed a bit, but these are all the chains that I find that I need. Now, Hop.exchange is another one, if people are interested in. I particularly like the Hop UI for some reason. I don't know. It's like neomorphic UI. And they have less chains actually, but you can swap again between. So as far as Pancake Swap, I think I would say this, Pancake Swap created a UI that was hugely, it was amazing. It was really cool. I mean, and there's so many forks of it now that it's hard to remember in some ways that they were the first, but the layout, and they had some great Ponzonomics. I mean, they were really smart. Well, it's actually not that. My take on Pancake Swap is this: they were really smart in. There was some point last year I looked and there was 60%, 60, over 60. I don't know what it is right now, but there was 60% of all cake in circulation was basically locked in their smart contracts. So they created this system where they could be issuing a lot of their currency, right? A lot of cake without creating this huge sell pressure because they had these other ways you could lock it up, whether it was single-sided staking, whether it was staking it to get early access to projects that would launch on their platform. I mean, there was a lot of different projects doing some of these things, but PancakeSwap managed to put them all together like in one UI with the side navigation. So I'm trying to say, like, I think they did a lot of interesting things. I don't think they moved the ball forward on anything related to like public goods, but on the sort of, I guess, the obvious degen side of crypto, like PancakeSwap is you can't deny that it was an influential project, right? So people can hate on it, but I think that they actually did a lot of stuff right. As far as the user experience and, like, again, as I said, sort of use cases for their token. But I haven't been over there recently. So the one thing that strikes me about this proposal too is I feel like it must be cut off because the last word is just this on the
Right.
cross-chain gig. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have the issues with the proposals. Uh, that there were a lot of bad
Oh,
proposals.
that's right.
Um, and so I guess that could be an option in this case. It also happens with the next proposal that I'm not gonna read because it happens similar thing. It doesn't seem like it is a real, like, I'm not gonna say a real proposal. It feels that it was a proposal proposed by someone, not by the organization. Um, just the label is token economics code. Consider this. It's not. It doesn't seem like something serious, even though it has a lot of votes. So yeah, I will still be hesitant because it seems that they haven't managed to find a way to get civil resistance on their you know on their snapshot. So I don't know. We will see down the lane how this pays off, but hopefully it will be fine. All right.
Right on, dude.
We can move to Olympus.
Let's do it.
And then we have Olympus TAP7 Anchor Protocol whitelist. This proposal started on March 11. It ended already on March 14. And this proposal seeks authority from the community to whitelist Anchor Protocol for depositing of USD. Recently, the DAO has been accumulating USD through bonds, and the DAO is now seeking the ability to deposit idle USD in Anchor to further increase the backing of protocol and to support the Terra ecosystem. Olympus will receive newly minted Anchor Terra in exchange for their deposit, and add Terra tokens represents Olympus share in the stablecoin pool and can later be redeemed to claim the initial stablecoin deposit. This was voted in favor, with 99% in favor, 141 opposed. Have you ever heard of Anchor Protocol?
Yes, I have, and I think, but this is where I've heard of it. I know enough about it to sort of understand what was happening back and forth, I think, between Terra and, if it was not ETH mainnet or like one of these side chains. Like, this intersects in some ways with like Frog Nation stuff, I think, in the past, but I don't exactly know how. And I confess it also, like, sort of a lack of depth of understanding in terms of tokenomics and the way that it would help to back it. But if there's anybody in the audience that does have knowledge of this, feel free to share. And I don't, Ed, are you deep on the Anchor relationship here?
Zero deepness in this, mainly because this kind of I feel this spectrum of proposals are basically to increase the connections of one protocol with the other one and to expand their token use cases and so on. So I don't take a full, like, a deep dive into this kind of stuff, because I really don't. I don't, for except for people who use Anchor Protocol or the people who use Olympus, I don't see a real value to me on taking a deep dive. I like the fact that this is becoming more of a common practice in the ecosystem to be able to do these exchanges and these partnerships and these exchanges of tokens and so on. But that's it for me, at least.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Is your reading of this essentially, so Ohm has all of these as UST. And I know, and people can see, obviously, Anchor enables you to deposit your UST for a yield. And so I guess my question it says Olympus will receive newly minted Anchor Terra. This is a Terra in exchange for their deposit. I don't know if that's the yield or
Yeah.
if this is something that they're receiving in exchange for simply depositing their UST to add liquidity. I'm not exactly sure like what the sort of exchange and interest is here, but it's definitely, as you said, it's really cool to see. Olympus is making these partnerships on the regular, right, with various
Yeah.
protocols on or off ETH mainnet.
Would you like, if you were able to decide this kind of decisions, imagine it's your own DAO, your own token, will you do this, like, because I've seen this pattern of, every week, every 2 weeks, new partnership, new exchange of tokens, blah, blah, blah. Will you do this exponentially, or will you be more careful to where you with whom you make these exchanges?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, and it's hard to say, right? I mean, um, there's a lot of different motivations. I mean, on one hand, if we go back into the past, it's like partnerships and partnerships are a way to generate media hype and all this sorts of things. But I think in some ways, like this type of partnership is far too tight. Like you could have a banner that's like, oh, you're partnering with Anchor and all that's cool. But at the end of the day, like the details of some partnerships show you that there's really nothing there. Like there's not really anything there. Whereas in this case, there's actually a lot of there potentially, and it's kind of complex. So it's also a question over like how partnerships can be messaged in the best way, I guess. I mean, I don't think that any of the partnerships I've seen with on Ohm are like, oh my god, like are something concerning. Like if I was an Ohm holder, right? Um, but it reminds me a little bit of like Shapeshift as well, in that the sort of activity of people at the DAO to form these partnerships represents a really important form of energy that, like, if it wasn't there, I'd also be concerned. If they were like, because they could always hide behind like, oh, we're waiting for the right quality partnerships to come along, which is just an excuse for like not actually doing anything. So it's hard. Like, I don't know. It's a good question.
Indeed, we will see. I feel like I would like to know more about what are the guidelines to do these partnerships. Besides consulting with the community and besides passing on snapshot, like what else are these guidelines?
Well, I'll tell you
How do you
one.
pick some?
Like, I don't know if it's for but I can say for some, and again, and Shapeshift might be an example. Is if you have if you have a large treasury, if you're a DAO and you have a large treasury, um, and you can generate yield that can either be in stable coins, or you can swap to stable coins without having to sell and create sell pressure for your own token. Being able to generate yield that then you can turn around and use to compensate contributors is like a very specific goal, right? Because that enables better price performance for your token, right? Because you're not having, if you have to issue it to incentivize contributors, you're inevitably creating that sell pressure. So this is where I think some of these I don't know if that's directly aligned with what is going on here with Ohm, but the
Right.
idea is like really seeking yield in stable coins in particular, I think is something that a lot of DAOs are looking for these kind of reasons probably, and probably guides their partnership making to a certain degree.
Thanks for that. Then we can move on to Bankless for the last one for today. And Bankless have two proposals, and the first one, it's called Governance Solution Engineer Program Reimplementation, and it's a proposal that started on March 16 and it will end on March 23, in 2 days. And basically, it explains that our governance-minded DAO members elected to spec out a comprehensive solution to mission-critical DAO infrastructural challenges, and they explain a little bit of the budget and so on. And this proposal is, as the name says, it's a re-implementation. They have, some other links to stuff like quorum removal, snapshot, and I think we mentioned this, about the quorum removal in a few weeks ago. And they
Yes.
specify a little bit of their how many they're gonna spend, and what it will consist on operational pools. They also have a focus dedicated kind of summary. Um, and so it's like a operational proposal in a way. It has completely with 19 million bank tokens on it. And I mean, it will pass probably because still 2 days ahead, but 96% of approval of this proposal. It's a very long proposal in that sense. Um, but yeah, so this is just an update on this, and then the other one it's the election one, because this was the implementation, and the other one is the election. And then also ends the same date, 16th of March, and ends on the 23 in 2 days. And basically, they have a bunch of candidates for the governance solution engineer program, and it is to select five of this. And the people who are right now, and I don't know if I'm gonna butcher these names: Manuel Macu, Zero X Justice, Roroless, Saul Farin, Above Average, uh, were the five top. So I guess maybe those were will be the five elected. We will know. We will know this in for sure in 2 days when this closed. And they have a list of uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people were you know up for vote. So yeah, we will see how this plays out, and how it will change. I don't know if it will change the bankless DAO deeply, but I think it's interesting this pattern that I've seen in governance of putting up the election and putting up the implementation proposal at the same time, covering the same period of time. So yeah, that's a little bit about the bankless. Do you know that? Are you familiar with the bankless organization? Like, I know you are, but like in the sense of like, do you go to their Discord often? Do you play around?
Yeah, no, I have not. Of course, I'm familiar, probably as the average person, but no, I have not had time to sort of spend in their Discord, recently. So my touch points are really these bits that you share, right, with us from Snapshot, because I think that they're following a similar thread, and I would also just say that Bankless has the cleanest, best organized snapshot of any DAO that we've seen, like sort of hands down, in my opinion. I mean, they have a nice formatting, and even here at the top, if you're looking at the share screen, folks, we to your point, Edu, we noted last week the interesting sort of timing of how these proposals hit the snapshot, and then Bankless has added this important note at the top here with regards to the relationship between this election and the program, which is concurrently running. So I just think it's very well done. What they do here, I think, is a great example and sort of a template that could be used as a reference point for other DAOs and for new DAOs for sure.
I agree, and yeah, we will see. They also have another proposal that also ends in 2 days, which is the grants committee election for season 4 and or season 5th, and it's another election of the grants committee. So you have who are stepping down from the committee and who are the 6 candidates for this one. And basically, Lynx is the one at the moment who is winning, let's say, in a way. There are 3 seats, so it will be Lynx, Lion, and Montgomery at the moment that we are reading this. Probably maybe will change or not, we will see. So these are the 3 top probable 3 seats who will be replacing the ones stepping down. So yeah, a lot of kind of movement on the bankless DAO. So and to your point, not only their snapshot but their onboarding is also really clean.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I think that this DAO in particular has given a lot of great best practices, right, to folks that are interested in how to do things, how to DAO it right.
Correct. So with this, that's pretty much it for this Monday. So back to you, Tewels.
Yeah, man. Well, as always, it's good to sort of touch around and see what's happening here on the snapshot and with the major protocols. Is there anything on the TEC side or the Garden side you think people might want to be aware of by chance? Any updates?
Um, not that I can recall at the moment. We will probably have some very interesting things to share on the next weeks, but at the meantime, we will keep the suspense.
Right on. Yeah, folks, if you hadn't had a chance to get over to Gardens, you should. Got a number of awesome projects already sort of active here and a number that are coming online. I know that, so this week actually, we'll do a little plug for the schedule this week. We have Paul. Well, let me actually get it up here on screen. Give me just 1 second. Edo, you have a minute to stick around, and maybe we'll go for another couple minutes and then adjourn. What do you think? Before we come back with Disruption Joe?
Sure.
All right, give me just a second then. Let me pull this up for people, and we'll get some kind of a actual, as you mentioned earlier, Edo, an infographic for people. But for right now, this is what a Monday, or rather a weekly stream schedule looks like. So we have the DAO News and guest project that you all are tuned in for right now. We have a new show that's going to start tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern, and this is going to be specifically geared towards regen projects and public goods. Well, specifically regen projects within the public goods space. I should write that down and practice saying it out loud. And so that's something, again, to tune in for. Either I think Paul will be hosting here in the Discord, and if not, he'll definitely be on Twitch and YouTube, but he's going to be chatting up a bunch of stuff specifically about Gardens and regen projects that are launching on Gardens. So I'm not sure if he has a specific host lined up for tomorrow, but there's a number here that I'm sure that he'll be getting on to chat with him. And then Wednesdays, of course, well, rather, it is really bi-weekly now, late night on Tuesdays. We haven't done much marketing for this, but Tuesdays starting at around 9, I think maybe 9:30ish Eastern. So late Eastern time, later Eastern time, middle of the night if you're in Europe, I know. Billy and I hop on and chat about some cool stuff, and so we'll try to add a note to that before we do it next week. And we have the weekly show for NFTs and gaming on Wednesday with Dosh and Solar. That's been going for several weeks now, for many weeks now, I should say. So make sure you tune in for that one and get on the same two platforms. Then this Thursday, we also have the Spanglish language radio show and music show with Miguel and his crew. I know Rohek is also helping out with us today, and he'll be on site for that show on Thursday. Trivia right now, I had some folks that have been asking about this, and so I just want to say trivia has really been, I guess, sort of put on ice for the time being. We hope to bring it back and look forward to maybe partnering with a couple DAOs. I know, Edo, we talked about this in the recently, but bringing this back to life is definitely on the roadmap, so to speak, but it's been something that is quite time-consuming, and so we're focusing on some other things for the time being. But if those of you in the audience would like to see more trivia games, the biggest way that you could help us out is by, connecting with projects that you think would like to sponsor. And I'll just sort of add this as an additional detail. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to help us more formally on the biz dev side for trivia, I'm sure we can find a way to support that contributor role. We will have a new proposal coming up soon for the TV project to One Hive, and so we can chat about that again if it's just something that strikes your interest. That is something we can definitely use some help with. We'd love to bring that back online. But we are almost done with the first hour here, and we will come back at about probably 5 afternoon Eastern, so maybe in about 10 minutes or so, and we will have another hour with Disruption Joe from Gitcoin. So that's what we're looking at in the second half of the show today. Let me go ahead and check chat, see if there's any questions, comments there. Edo, do you have anything else you want to share, bro?
I'm perfectly fine. And people, I think, will be Seer 8. It's asking for also the voice, and people will be asking about the co-op, I think. I don't know. You are the Lord.
Yes.
Co-op,
God. Say it ain't so. Let me ask Rohek. I know Rohek's in the audience, man. If you can hear me, Rohek, ping me real quick, man, and let me know what's up, because I know that we had sort of tried to come up with a game plan that would get the secret word out to folks that we have in the community here who attend the calls on a regular basis. And I think if that's all wrapped up, then we can share the secret word before we take a break, and then maybe we'll share it again in the middle of the next hour. Let me see though, folks. So I'm gonna actually. What we'll do is this. I'm going to take a break. We'll play one tune, and I'll check in with Rohek, and then I'll come back, and if we're ready, I'll announce the secret word. And if we need another couple minutes, then we'll simply wait until we come back with Disruption Joe. So that's the plan. We're going to break now for 5, or maybe less than that. We'll break for 3 to 4 minutes for a tune, and then I'll be back hopefully with the POAP word. Does that sound like a plan, Edu?
good. See you in a bit.
Okay, we'll be back, everybody. GM. Okay, everybody. So a quick reminder here. We have Rohak that is distributing the secret word, and he's starting with folks that, of course, we know here, and he will either reach out directly to you with the secret word in the next couple minutes here, the next 5 to 10, I would say, and if we have some remaining POAPs from those that we requested, we'll share the word verbally at some point in the next hour here. So that's the deal with the POAPs. We're trying different things out each week here to try to figure out the best way to get POAPs to folks that join us each week and are really interested in learning and contributing here in chat, etc. So we want to extend GM to everybody here. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. We'll game for about 5 after the hour with Disruption Joe. So we'll spin another couple tunes here, and we'll see you all in a few minutes. GM, everybody.
Some cosmic rays. Excellent. 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 Excellent.
as I'm on. The reasons ain't wrong, gonna carry on, oh, we got to be. Now why does this man find them only reason to weed down the temple? That's bliss of weed. Summertime be better when they got sense of me. When they got sense of me. Lord, I got the ghost where they never know when oh Lord, I got the ghost where they never know when oh Lord, I got the ghost where they never know when
Hey, everybody, GM. Disruption Joe is headed on his way over here now, coming direct from a meeting over at Gitcoin. Of course, he leads their fraud detection work stream, and so he is on his way. Appreciate y'all sitting tight here. He'll be here any minute, and we'll get rolling with that half of the program. GM to everybody, welcome. If you're just joining us here in the Discord, reminder that we're also streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. And we'll drop those links in the OneHive TV channel, and we'll try to pop them in the Gen chat as well. They're both accessible right now if you scroll up in the OneHive Discord. So if you're here with us on the stage or in the Discord, if you click on announcements, at the very top there, you should see links to both YouTube and Twitch. And when we get started again, of course, right now we have our white screen up there with our beloved B. But once we get started, when Joe joins us here, we'll switch over to the share screen. You get to see some cool graphics there. So while we're still waiting here, we'll spin a couple other tunes and check us out on YouTube and Twitch. Subscribe, follow, check out OneHive.org on Twitter. That's where, of course, we communicate about all of our streams. We send out highlights of the stream and repost links to them throughout the week. So definitely do that. Check out Disruption Joe on Twitter as well. He'll be joining us momentarily. Again, we appreciate you all for joining us. GM, I'm going to play another couple tunes, and then we'll be live with Disruption Joe.
Drop it. Drop it.
What's good, GM, everybody? I'm going to take a little bit of time here and share a bit about OneHive in case y'all might be or might not be familiar with the DAO here. So if you're tuning in on Twitch, tuning in on YouTube, check out the share screen and I'll put some useful information up there for you. Of course, if you're joining us here in Discord, GM to all of you as well. We get started with Disruption Joe as soon as he is able to pop in here to the stage. We'll keep an eye on that to bring him up when he is ready. But in the meantime, as I said, I'm going to share a little about OneHive. Edu is with me here, my brother. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, sir. Well, I'm going to do a brief sort of onboarding shtick, and those of you, if you're in the OneHive Discord for the first time, or you are less or not even familiar at all with OneHive, I would direct you to the page you're looking at right now on the share screen, onehive.org, one and then hive.org, and you can link up to a lot of what we're up to here, and there are parts of this site that are being updated, but the sort of central energy at OneHive right now, I think is around two main projects, one of which is Gardens, and the other is the TV project. And sort of what we're doing here on stream today would be an example of the content that we're putting together for all of you good people. And so Gardens itself is its own sort of ecosystem designed for DAOs to launch their tokenized economies. So we showed in the first half of the show the Gardens front end here, the DApp, and you can go to Gardens simply is the subdomain. So if you're at onehive.org, if you just add the word Gardens, plural, gardens.onehive.org, it'll take you to the screen that you see on screen right now. And you'll be able to connect your wallet and you can explore these different tokenized economies. Of course, you see OneHive, as well as Giveth, the Give Garden, Bright ID, their DAO, the Token Engineering Commons. We have another number of others that are launching here. Culture with Culture, DAO Land we had on last week to share a little bit about their project and how they're planning to engage in regenerative agriculture. If you're interested in regen related crypto stuff, we're gonna have a show tomorrow starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we'll tweet and announce this as well. But you want to make sure you tune in. And Paul, if you know Paul too, technically in Discord, if you know him. He'll be leading that show tomorrow. If we go back to the OneHive homepage, also under projects, you'll see Celeste. This is a very, very, very interesting tool. It's a DAO, I guess a piece of DAO infrastructure. This sort of deserves its own conversation, so I won't get into it right now, but essentially Celeste makes it possible for DAOs to do on-chain governance without a multisig. And that is still, I guess, future tech, right? And until the regulators come and tell you, or people, it becomes more obvious to people what the multisig represents in terms of legal liability. Celeste is there. It's something interesting to check out. Again, if you go to onehive.org and go to projects, you can click into Celeste and learn a little bit about it. I'm not sure if David DYOR, I don't think is in the audience today, but David is a very active member of the Gitcoin DAO as well, and also has history working with a number of us over here at OneHive, and so I believe that they're working on some type of integration between Celeste and the Gitcoin rounds, right, to provide essentially an arbitration backstop in the event that certain projects, like their classification is disputed. They can have a dispute resolution mechanism that works on chain. So Celeste is something, again, that the OneHive has built and sort of integrated. A number of these pieces are forked away originally from Aragon and have different technology built into, or I guess on top of them, to add some additional use cases. It is also the case, by the way, folks, that if you are a honey holder, just as a reminder, right, Celeste, you can stake your honey single-sided in Celeste, and I don't know what the APY is right now. I think it's right around 25%, and of course it is paid out in honey. But Celeste is a really important tool to discuss and learn about, but it also offers a very simple and it's a no sort of degen level APYs, but something that if you want to participate in securing the ecosystem in OneHive Gardens and the other communities that have adopted it, Celeste is something to definitely check out. Many of you have probably heard of HoneySwap. So this is This takes you to the old school website. We go to the HoneySwap app. Give me just a second here. This has some of the deeper liquidity between pairs on Gnosis chain. I'm sure many of you in the audience have heard of HoneySwap. This is the first V1 fork of Uniswap deployed off mainnet back almost 2 years ago, I guess now. I don't know the exact date of deployment. I'll have to ask, but it's been around for quite a while. Originally on XDAI, which has become Gnosis chain. But those are the main projects that OneHive has built. There are others, including an app. We have our own Minecraft server. I mean, the DAO has actually built a lot of crazy stuff, particularly last year in 2021. And you can also check out a number of the apps available through the front end here, again, on onehive.org. And the Open DAO button will take you over to Gardens. So, Edu, what do you think, man? I know if you need to hop off, by the way, you just say so. You just say the word, my man. And but I don't know if there's anything you want to add about the OneHive side of things, or any specific plug for TEC, or what do you think, sir?
Sure. No, I'm fine. I'm fine with time. I still have 30 minutes to go. And no, I think that yeah, Gardens is always worth taking a look at. And I don't know, it's funny because how these tools, I mean, just to provide context, I work mainly at the TEC, Token Engineering Commons, and there, you know, the token that we launch, which is the TEC token, was developed by Common Swarm, which is the swarm of OneHive, and the technical building of the token was also helped and done by the OneHive community. So it's funny how this community that I started seeing from, you know, from a corner, quite distant from it, now it became like a focus point of me, where I use HoneySwap kind of weekly basis, and the rest of the tooling that you guys have built. So I don't know. I feel it's like it's really interesting to see how you can actually the things that sometimes look far end up being quite close to you. I think, I mean, yeah, it happens to everyone, I guess, but in my experience, it's nice to see how things has unfold, and I mean, OneHive actually builds good products, so that's good to know.
Right on, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious. I guess it'd be really cool if I knew. I'm just sort of speaking out loud here, but folks that are tuning in with us, you know, I'm curious to know, like, how many of you are users or have ever used Gnosis Chain before. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put an emoji poll in the OneHive TV channel. So if you're here in the OneHive Discord, I'm just really curious to know, right, how many of the folks that are joining with us sort of have used Gnosis Chain, otherwise previously known as XDAI Chain. If you've used it before, if you use it regularly, I'm curious to know here. So I'm going to put a little emoji poll. If you got a second, head over to the OneHive TV channel. There will be a POAP code given out momentarily here, just to round things out if there are any remaining. So I'm going to put the emoji poll in the OneHive TV channel. If you got a second, give it a thumbs up if you use Gnosis Chain, and if not, check it out. You know, it's definitely worth adding to your RPC if you don't have it already. There's a number of active projects over here like OneHive. So I'll drop an emoji poll, and then we'll sort of wrap up the POAP side of things momentarily. Okay, everybody, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share the POAP code here again. So I'm going to do this verbally. We're not going to put it in chat. I would appreciate people not putting it in chat. So I just want to preface that by saying the reason we do the secret code in this way is to try to, add somewhat of a filter so that people, it's harder to spam it, right? So in this case, please do not put the code in chat here. I'm going to say, if you do it, once it's a mistake, but second time is not a mistake. So let's just try to avoid doing so. This week, the POAP code is all lowercase letters, right? So there's a 1 HTV GTC, okay? 1 HTV GTC. So 1 HTV GTC is the code. Give it a shot. Mint on your mobile is the easiest way to do it. I believe there should still be some remaining, but they're going to go really quickly now. The last time we shared the secret code, there was all of them were gone in under a minute, despite not nearly as many people being in the audience. Remarkable. So, yeah, all of you, hopefully, Rohak has been destroying, I know, the code to a number of you, and really appreciate you for the help there, brother. I think we will do this. Well, unless you have something else to share, I think we may wrap it for this week. I do not know what is up, but I also don't want to keep people hanging here. If you got questions about One Hive, or you want to chat about anything One Hive related, I'm down to chat if people would like to in the audience. If you got questions, if we're unable to connect with Joe today, we'll of course reschedule for another week. We have the next 6 weeks scheduled out. So just to sort of drop a little bit of alpha on the show here, next Monday we will have Moon Jelly joining us. And this is one of the most awesome regen projects that's out there. They're trying to leverage the power of DeFi and tokenomics to support ocean conservation. So they're going to be with us next Monday. The week after that, we got Poapathon with TAP. We got Eden DAO coming in the middle of April, and then Popcorn DAO coming towards the end of April. And hopefully we'll be able to get, if we can't do it today, hopefully we'll be able to get Joe back as well in the near future. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So hope you all are stoked for those, those conversations as we are. I know Edu will probably be joining us as well when he has time to. I don't know. What do you think, Edu? You ready to wrap?
Let's wrap. Until next week, of course.
Until next week, sir. Well, and just so everyone knows, again, I've got to plug it. There's going to be another show tomorrow for Regen. But thanks, Edu, man. I'll hang out for just a little bit longer, maybe chat about One Hive stuff. But you have an excellent week, sir, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thank you so much, Stu Waltz, and thanks everyone who joined. We look forward to see you all next Monday. Take care.
Take care, man. All right. So let me see here. I'm checking chat. Again, for the POAP, it is 1HTV GTC. And the easiest way to do this is on your phone. So, and I would say just in general, if you want to be a good POAP getter person, then you should have the mobile app, right? I'm sort of making a joke here, right? Like if you, I think the easiest way and best way to share them, obviously, with other people is to have you on your mobile device. And they've made a really cool app that makes it super easy. You don't have to like give anybody, you're not putting your keys anywhere, your private keys anywhere. So you just open the app, put in your OX address where you're collecting, and then it will, show you your collection, and then it will enable you to do a couple different things, two of which we are experimenting with here. One says secret word. So if you're in the app and you're on the homepage, you should see secret word or secret code or secret something, and you have a secret something. I gave it to you. Hooray. And you open that and you put it in there, 1HTV GTC, and if there are any remaining, automatically it will appear on your list of collected POAPs. And right now we have like the only thing week to week that's changing on ours is the date at the bottom, but we're going to start, I think, to add some additional graphical elements. Acid Laser is the fellow who did the design work on this one, and I think it looks awesome. I'm glad to hear some of you all think it looks cool as well. We'll be sort of jazzing it up with some additional stuff. We may even do some animations for it in the next couple of weeks here. So we'll see. But the POAP, again, we're going to experiment with distribution. I hope everybody who is here and is with us particularly consistently was able to get one today. And we're going to shut the book on that then for that run. All right. So if there are any questions about One Hive, let's see. Yes, David Allen. Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, so it is a chat. And let's see. Yeah, so POAP actually, there's actually a connection here, right? So POAP mints on Gnosis chain, and it was minting on XDAI before it. So, in order to, you can imagine, right? So if you POAPs really wouldn't be a thing if everybody had to mint on mainnet, right? So coming over to XDAI, it is the cheapest. Gnosis chain is the cheapest side chain, to my knowledge, that exists. And the utility token is a stable coin. So you're paying like a fraction of a cent for a transaction. And so POAP can basically cover those costs for users. And you can mint free POAPs. Isn't that awesome? But there's actually a connection there. So yeah, it's... I think I showed earlier on screen. I'll put it up. Give me a second here, folks. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, I'll put up 2 bridges that you can take a look at. Again, I know that they have a different URL here, and I put it in the chat on the Discord. I'll also drop it in the chat on the stream here, YouTube and Twitch. So what happens here is you need to connect your wallet, obviously, and then you can choose between all these different chains. So let's say that you have capital on Binance. You've been using PancakeSwap. We're talking about them earlier, or you're on Polygon, using dApps on Polygon or Avalanche, Phantom. You can send them over to Gnosis chain. You simply would set your RPC to your current network. So if you're on Polygon, you need to set your RPC to Polygon, choose this, and then you can choose any other chain to send it to, right? So if you want to send it over to Gnosis chain, you can do this, and then it will read your wallet, and you can choose the token you want to send. You get the idea. There's a little bit there's a couple extra steps. Some difference, you'll see on screen. If you've never used a bridge like this before, it's not exactly like Uniswap, but it's the same. It's not hard, okay, to use. You just sort of click through the blue buttons, right? Now, that's really bad, actually bad advice. You shouldn't just click through the buttons ever in crypto. You should really pay attention to what you're doing, in fact. But in this case, there are not a whole lot of steps to send assets cross-chain. You don't have to pay a lot in fees. And I remember, so we have a video on the One Hive YouTube channel that is the original XDAI to Polygon bridge. And this is, I think, the first one that Connects did about a year ago, around this time. And it's been really cool to see the liquidity build in their basically in their protocol, because it's become a lot easier and better to use, and they have more chains. And so I would plug this one. I would also say Hop Exchange if you haven't been there before. Well, let's see. Yeah, so here in this case, the UI works a little bit differently. Like, you choose the asset you want to send. And it's, stables and obviously Matic, DAI, and then you just choose a network here. Now, they have a more limited number of networks. They don't have as many side chains. So they have mainnet and then Optimism, Arbitrum, and then you can send between Polygon and Gnosis, but that's it. So Hop is a little bit more limited. In some cases, I've seen that the fees are a bit higher. And this is not at all, I mean, it's smooth. Like, the UI is very smooth. I've never had anything get stuck. Well, maybe once, but you never lose your assets. I've not lost assets on either. Again, obviously this is not financial advice, but I'm not telling you what to buy, but you should know that bridges, bridges are inherently problematic in crypto. Right, so you should just know that, and yeah, proceed with general caution. But I personally have used them repeatedly and haven't had any issues. So this is using one of these 2 tools, or both of them, is a good way to get assets over to Gnosis chain, I guess, is a long way of coming around to say. Let's see, check chat and see if there's any other comments or questions. Yeah, of course, David. Yeah, any questions? Hit me up, and then. Cool. Yeah, there's an intention as well to have an onboarding call. I don't know. Let me see who's joined us in the Discord right now. I am not entirely sure. Let us see. Wow, I just opened it again, and the number of avatars, like generic Discord avatars, is fractionalized. Love to see it. GM to everybody here who's with us. I think there's going to be a weekly or a bi-weekly onboarding call. And it will be hosted here in the OneHive Discord. And I believe it's going to begin in the next week or two. And we'll also stream it out in the same way as we're doing for today's show. And so on a bi-weekly basis, you better join and direct people to join a specific stream where it's basically going to be a broken record, right? It's meant, and in the best of ways, like the best of broken records. Okay, that is basically, it's going to be a space where people who have never heard of OneHive or are new to the community can just land there and get the overview pitch and get any question that they want answered for like an hour every bi-weekly. So nothing revolutionary in any way, but we're going to be streaming it out in a similar format. So y'all can anticipate some of those calls, or at least sharing them with folks, because we did a little overview today. If there are people in the audience here who are familiar with OneHive, for example, and would like to contribute on this effort, we can put you in touch with Dosh. Perhaps, and the meeting, the weekly meeting that they'll be sort of hashing out the details for the onboarding is Thursdays. I think it's Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Is when the Buzz team will meet. The Buzz team meets weekly, and that is the group that is most directly involved with shaping and then like staffing and doing the actual onboarding show that I'm referring to. So if you want to learn more and like contribute or like get in the weeds on that, that would be the time and place to show up. But as I said, if you're interested in just learning more about OneHive, welcome today, GM, and we'll have a more formal onboarding, show that's coming up in the next couple of weeks here. If you don't want to wait that long, Gen Chat is a great place to be here. I would say explore the different swarms. There are a lot, and I would say that there's a consensus in the community after speaking with people, even more recently, that I think a bit of an overhaul of the Discord is in order for OneHive. So this is also something you can sort of anticipate maybe coming down the pipeline, helping people navigate a bit here. Again, all with the goal of helping people feel welcome and helping to orient them to the DAO here. So, but with that, I would say we are past the bottom of the hour, and unfortunately we have to reschedule our chat with Disruption Joe, but we really appreciate everybody coming and joining us today. GM, to all of you, we'll be posting the highlights from the first hour over the next week or so, and next week we'll be back with Moon Jelly. So again, make sure to follow on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, follow OneHive.org on Twitter so that you're able to keep in touch with us and you're notified of when the next show is going live and you can tune in. Again, GM to everybody, thanks for joining us, and y'all have a great, excellent, fantastic week. Cheers.
شكوى عناية